Hey everyone, so I've got the Prius in the garage today. I've noticed the water pump was leaking a little bit, so I'm going to go and change that out. I've bought a new one and a new belt to go with it. And also, of course, 4 litres of coolant to replace what spills out. Let's get into it. The pump's located down here, so I'm just going to remove this hose. Then just remove this bolt out of the solenoid so we can get it out of our way and continue on. So I've tied the solenoid off with this bit of tape here. Just real quick here, please remember to check that the engine is turned off, not just on, but the engine is in hybrid mode, because it will start up randomly and I wouldn't want to guess what would happen to your fingers down there. Now we're going to go down to the tensioner pulley and a 14mm socket and undo that. This one was quite tight, I had to get an extension bar on there. Now once you've loosened that, there's a nut right here. That one needs to be loosened and that will slide it down and release the tension off of the belt. And again at the end, once you put your new belt on, you can tighten it this way as well and then lock it in place. Alright, so that's quite loose now. Just undo this, dropping all the bits. There's the tensioner pulley. The bearing seems good on that. Release the belt. It's actually not bad. Ooh, they are not the same. The new one I got has 4 grooves. Right, that's going to be an issue. Oh well, at least this one's not too bad. I can return the belt. It was $50 anyway. So now a simple task of undoing these 3 bolts to get the bell housing off of this pulley. Not so simple. So put a bolt through, that's my bolt there, through one of these outside holes to lock it, because the whole thing wants to rotate as you put your spanner on there. Then, this is all I had. I don't have a ratcheting one, so I started rounding the ends off, and you'll see what happened next. This bike handlebar should make a nice socket extension bar. The spanner is in there, just not long enough, so I've got my bike handle here that I made up. Put that over the end. Alright, and just give it a quick sharp hit. And that has loosened it. Nice. Couple more to go. Tell you what's a pain is having to lift my phone up every time I hit record, because otherwise it wants to record in portrait mode. Ugh. Anyway, got one left. I've just been taking them out by hand at this point. And yes, I didn't show you all the screws I dropped and had to crawl under the car to get out. Here we go. Yummy. Okay, so there's 5 bolts. I believe it's in this orientation here, which is terrible because it means that there's one under here that you can't even see. But before I set myself up, let's drain the water out of the system, or it'll go all over the ground. I've gone underneath and I found a little drain valve there. Come. So there's a little spigot. I put the red pipe on it and then turn that yellow knob, and it will start to drain out into the bucket. And then I believe it helps to take this off. And if you've got the cold weather version, there'll be a coolant tank up in here, but mine doesn't have that, and I believe the valve is on that tank on that version. This is taking so long to empty. I went ahead and loosened all the water pump nuts. It was actually quite easy, really easy. I couldn't believe it. They all popped loose. I don't know, it's crazy. So I'll get a bucket under there and fully take it off. I'm sure a bit of water will spill out. Yeah, we got it. Still leaking. Yeah. It's weird, they don't seem messed up or anything, but it sure is leaking everywhere. Giving it a wipe. I've got the old gasket off. Interesting, it's metal, but the covering's all coming off. The new one is more like a regular gasket. So I'll put that on and then put the pump on. We can start putting everything back together. Old and new, a little bit different. Not sure what all that's about. The 3 nuts and 2 bolts are back on there. Now it's time to install the pulley wheel. So I've given that a good clean, as well as cleaning the pink stuff off of the nuts and bolts. Tighten up those bolts for the pulley wheel and you'll hear the bell of failure every time your socket slips off. Yeah. Got the belt installed. I had to Google how that goes on. And now I'm just going to tighten it up and then lock it in place just like we did at the start. I've put this little solenoid back where it goes, and then it'll be time to fill the water. So this is how much coolant came out of the radiator and where the pump was. I've bought a 5-litre bottle of new stuff. It should only take about 4 litres to refill it. We're ready to put coolant in. I've got my funnel. I've got some whatever brand red coolant. If I had Toyota brand, I would have got it. And then there is a bleeder valve in here, which we're supposed to open up, and I guess it just lets a bit of air out that gets trapped in the system. There we go. Ooh. So I've closed everything else down the bottom up. I don't know how that works, it's probably good enough. Whoa. Oh, this could take a while. Okay, so it does start coming out of here when it's full. Let's see if I can show you. There we go. Comes out of that port and spills all over the floor. Only a couple of drops. I'm going to run the engine now and see if it needs some more. The belts are behaving, and I just realised I didn't put the hose back onto here. Okay, I'll do that. I've been opening that valve a little bit and watching while it's running, and then turning the engine off, topping it up again until, while that's open, until it overflows. And it did take another couple of cups more, and I'm also looking at the overflow tank level here. That's about it for this one. Good luck changing your pump, and thank you for watching. I'm going to get back to some adventures for the weekend. See ya.